Can you tell me again when it was you first came to London?
It's the end of 1913. I don't remember, was it November? I believe November. I was still in Warsaw.
And where,
must be in December.
And where did you come to live in London? Where did you live in London?
I had a sister, I had two aunts. The aunts, when they left for England, I wasn't born yet. When my sister left, I was 4 years old. Was my sister. But she lived in Newcastle, and my nuns lived in Manchester. And I want to be in the Golden City in London. So I couldn't stay with them. I didn't want to stay with them. I went to them to see them. They came to take me there, but I didn't stay long. I had friends. I had a rabbi's son. He didn't want to be a rabbi. He ran away. He didn't want. His older brother was a rabbi, and his father wanted to make him. Of course, he must be another rabbi. So he ran away, and he became ran away. He came to Warsaw. He was from near Lomża. He was in another city. He came to Warsaw. All the runners away, girls or boys used to come to Warsaw, to the capital. They do the same here. Then they run away from their parents, they go to London.
That's right.
Well, so he was a socialist then, a young socialist. We had a club. I was in this social club, a socialist club, young girls, boys. And I get to know him. And then it was too hot for him. His father even would use the police to bring him back from Warsaw. So he went to London, here. He had a sweetheart, a girl what he loved, and they are in the same city where he was born. But her parents didn't want her to marry him because he became a socialist. You see?
Now, where was it you first heard Rudolf Rocker speak? Where was that?
But
where was it that you first heard Rudolf Rocker speak? Whereabouts?
There I saw him. Well, they took me to his lecture. He was lecturing every week.
Whereabouts? Whereabouts?
In the East End. In the East End then. Then the East End was very lively. Then all the Jews, later, after the Second World War, they moved to Dalston, the Jewish, and then to Stoke Newton, and then to Hampstead. But then when I came, was a very actually, I stayed, I came back from my sister and from the aunts to London, has to go for my work. In London is better, or a millionaire or a farrier is better. And this rabbi's son, but he was my friend, and he sent me money to come. My parents wouldn't want me to go. They said they got enough one daughter. And my mother said they got enough two sisters and one daughter there. So he sent me money. And I promised my mother I'm coming back. I would come back if I give my mother knew. If I used to give a promise, and so in there, I tried to keep it. So, and then, because if my mother wouldn't trust me, I will keep my promise to come back. Maybe I would come again, but this time what I promised I'm coming back, I would come back. But the war, just then, when I prepared to go home, the war broke out. I couldn't go home. And I worried because I promised my mother. My sister said, in a wartime, you will be better off here. You will be better off here. I said, maybe, but in a war, I want to be with mom and dad. I was the youngest, you see. I wanted to be, but I couldn't go. She said, Mommy, Mother will understand. That's the war broke out, so you couldn't keep your promise. Well, so yes, but still my parents wouldn't give me the money to go because they didn't want me to go. They was afraid I will stay on here. Well, he sent me the money. Then he came here. He tried to be a machine, you know, how they go. Well, he told me, and I used to use it to tease him with it. Oh yeah, I put in already. You don't take sugar?
No, thank you.
Well, so a machine, but he couldn't. He was very clever, but not with his hands. Well, he told me then his machine couldn't, some trains put them up for a machine there, and the machine didn't sew because he never saw. When the mechanic came to the machine to see why the machine don't work, told him, lift up the head. He lifted up his head. He didn't know the machine. Take off the head of the machine. I laughed. I said, if I would be there, I would take the oil can and would oil your neck. He lifted up his head. What is to do? I said, your head. He said, the mechanic said, well, he couldn't get on. So he had a far relative here, but they had in this city a shop from skunks and all the trimmings to the shop, to the fair coats that you need and everything. So they arranged for him to learn the fair trade. When I came, he was already a nail the fair trade, and he knew I learned my father because he told me the fair trade is here the best trade, pays best wages. I said it wasn't also the same. The fair trade paid very better than other trades. Well, when I came, but my mother didn't want me to be in the fair trade. She said she got enough fanfare in the family. So I learned for the sake of her, a millionaire. I became a millionaire. And when I came here, I said, and I want to work, I want to be a millionaire because to please my mother. He said, all right, but you don't know a word of English. I arranged for you in my place. I said I got a little cousin because he was, he was young, he was already married. This girl, but he loved, and they allowed her then when she became ill. She didn't want to be engaged to other. She said if she cannot marry him, she won't marry anybody. She will become an old maid. And then she became ill, so they let her marry him. But he had to come back and marry her there. And then they thought they will open a shop for him, they will give him. But they went for their honeymoon. They went to London. Both parents didn't know. His parents and her parents believed them. They go on honeymoon, they went back to London, they never came back.
Now, but you came here in December 1913. How long did you stay because of the war? Did you stay until the end of the war?
Well, I stayed till 1917 when the Russian Revolution broke out.
And you went to Russia?
So it was 4 years.
And when you went to Russia, then when did you come back to Britain?
Back again?
Yes.
11 years later.
1928.
I've been 10 years in Russia, and 1 year and they didn't let me in because I came, maybe you heard, it was in 1926 or 1927, was 1926 I believe. Zinoviev letter here.
Yes.
And they broke the diplomatic connection again. Before it took years till they recognized the Soviet, so-called Soviets. Soviets is dead. Then Lenin and Trotsky captured power, snatched the power. Well, so it's, but when it's a Zinoviev letter, we in Russia, the people didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So the people shouldn't know anything but the Bolsheviks.
But you've been in Britain since 1927.
So I came just in a bad time, but they didn't let me in. So I had to stay in Paris a year before I could come in. So it was 11 years away, I've been away.
And you've been in Britain ever since 1927?
98 I came here.
28?
1927 I was still in Paris.
And you've been here all the time since 1928?
Well, I've been away. I've been in Palestine before before years. 4 years. I never liked to sit in one place. I've been away several times, but I still come back because I'm British citizen by marriage. I'm a British
your husband was
subject
British.
by marriage.
Yeah. Your husband was British.
My husband was Mr. Downs, English, an Englishman.
But Feldman is your
My
father's
maiden name. I go by Feldman. I got two. I get letters Feldman. I get letters Downs.
Now tell me, do you still regard yourself as an anarchist? Would you regard yourself as an anarchist now?
I don't know. I regard myself, yes. Yes, I learned anarchism but this friend. I lived with them. With this, when I came back from Manchester and from Newcastle on Tyne, I stayed with this Rabbi son, Max Haubeck, and who sent me the money to come here, because my parents wouldn't give me the money, you see. But if they wouldn't trust me, that I promised I'm coming back, they would take the money, would send it back him, and my parents knew him from Warsaw, because he used to come to me, to my place.
Can I ask you, when you saw Rudolf Rocker, what did he look like? How do you remember him?
Well, then he was still middle-aged. I came, here was people who knew Rocker from the first day what he came to London, but they are dead. I believe I'm the only one, but the others are still younger than me and they didn't know them yet. When you saw the Jewish group?
No.
No. I don't think, even some people, they are my age, but they wasn't an anarchist, and they didn't know Rocker. They maybe heard of Rocker, because on Rocker's lectures used to come even Orthodox Jewish to hear his lecture. First of all, because he was a marvelous speaker. Secondly, he did a lot for the Jewish people, special for the working people, and so they admired him. When the argument with an Orthodox Jew, and you would say, well, Rocker, they not bomb throwers. It's not true. It's not true. It's only a name. And in the last war, I used to say, the government throw the bombs and blame the anarchists.
But did you read the Arbeiter Freund?
Huh?
Did you read the Arbeiter Freund, Rocker's paper? Did you buy it when you were in London?
But he was the editor.
Yes, but did you read the paper?
Arbeiter Freund.
Yeah.
I gave every week a day money away for this paper, and we gave donations, and we gave everybody gave a day wage away for this, to help for this paper, the Arbeiter Freund. And people mixed up in America, New York, was the Freie Arbeiterstimmen, the voice of labor. An Arbeiterfreund is the workers. You're not a Jew, you don't know Jewish. Because, some English people, I knew Aryans, Germans, they knew Yiddish. They like languages, the Germans.
Now, you were telling me a little while ago that Rocker didn't speak very good Yiddish. Could you tell me more?
But he could write Yiddish. Millie Witkop, suppose she learned in Yiddish or he learned in another way Yiddish, but he couldn't speak Yiddish. He couldn't. He thought he speaks Yiddish, but it was a broken German, you know. But when he wrote, he could write, unless his books, because he didn't know Yiddish perfect, as German, as his language. He was an Aryan rocker. Well, but when people understand them, special Jewish people, they understand better German than other people who don't know the German English. The Russians wouldn't understand him, or the Russian, not Jewish, the Russians wouldn't, Polish people, French, but Jewish people, because it's a broken German, Yiddish.
Why is it that Rocker, who was a goy, wasn't he, Rocker? He was a goy, Rocker, wasn't he? A Gentile.
An Aryan.
So why did he become the leader of Jewish workers?
Huh?
Why did Rocker, who's an Aryan, become the leader of Jewish workers?
When he came here, well, I believe you could read it somewhere. It's somewhere written down. But if I still remember, then he came from Mainz, Germany. Their Mainz was Jewish, only one kind of Jewish people. The rabbis with the long beard, and he knew Jewish people. He thought all the Jewish are the same like this. He didn't know any other kind of Jewish. So, but when he ran away from Germany for political, and he lived in Paris, a friend of his, told him, I believe also a German, if I could remember, or a Jew, no, a German, or a French. Tonight is a Jewish anarchist meeting. Would you like to go with me? He said, do you say a Jewish anarchist? He said, here comes. Hey, is the Catholics also anarchists? But there is some Catholics anarchists. But if you go to tell me that Catholics, you got Catholic anarchists? He said, I said, why? But because he only knew their minds, know this Orthodox Jewish. He didn't know the other Jewish as well. Well, he said, come with me tonight on this meeting, you will meet him. They are anarchists, this is an anarchist meeting. He went there, he was curious. Then he went there, and as a German, he understood Yiddish. The Jewish people understand better, pick up more the quicker German, because if they know Yiddish, some Jewish people don't know Yiddish. But the Jewish who can speak Yiddish, and so the Germans can pick up Yiddish, can understand. And when he heard their speakers, many speakers, talking Yiddish, he became in love with them. He was surprised, he was so glad. He didn't miss any other meetings there. And he became very friendly with the Jewish anarchists there in Paris. He found out different Jewish. And when not the Jewish what he knew.
And when Rocker came to London, and when you heard Rocker speak in 1913 and 1914, did he have a lot of supporters? Well, did you have a lot of Havarim, a lot of followers?
The audience to me came to hear, the listeners.
A large audience?
Was packed. People couldn't go in. I tell you, even Orthodox Jewish came to his lectures and they admired him. And when you spoke to them, when you argued with them about anarchism, I said, "But the rockers and anything." They used to answer, "Have you got many rockers?" I said, "Nearly like rockers, and some of them are rockers, and some of them they overgrow rockers. They are more than rockers. You see,
no.
you see, it was packed. He was a marvelous speaker. When he talked about prophets, he used to scientific lectures and he used to describe prophets. People, it seems to you see them walking around you, although they may be for hundreds of years dead. He was a marvelous speaker. He could describe scenes, visions. I tell you, everybody said, and I thought, I looked something, I believe I saw them, this me talk about. And this man or woman was already 100 years or 200 or 300 years dead.
Now,
I was a marvelous speaker.
There were quite a few women involved in the anarchist movement in the East End, weren't there? There were women. There were women as well as men in the anarchist movement.
Yes.
There was equality between women and men. There was equality.
Equality, yes. Wasn't then feminism, but anarchism was the same. They treat each other the same. Well, because actually the anarchist, the past feminist was also anarchist. Now, did you hear about Emma Goldman?
Yes.
She was a feminist anarchist. She was thinking about the right for women.
Did you go?
But she wasn't like the suffragettes. They only won the votes. Emma Goldman was against votes. I mean, the anarchists don't believe in votes, don't believe in government. But her feminism was an anarchist feminism. You got even here and there anarchist feminists, you got ordinary. Yesterday was my place, I know one, she's a scientist, she's still studying. She's a feminist, but not an anarchist, but she's a very nice person, and I like her, and she's my best friend. She come and help me without her and others, but she do it more than the others, because she's still single, she don't want to get married, and she got more time, although she's still studying, she is busy in the feminist movement, but she always finds time to come to help me. Oh, she helped me a lot. She packed everything. She washed my window. She washed my kitchen and the flowers. She didn't let me. She and others, but she did more than even yesterday. When she comes once in a fortnight. But in the other place, she used to come every week to me, sometimes 2-3 times a week. But here I'm more comfortable, and I told her I like to help myself. It's this flat is more easy for me to manage, and I know they are busy, and I like to help myself. I don't like to bother too much. They're not their fault. That's
tell me about the Jubilee Street Club.
Huh?
Tell me about the Jubilee Street Club, the anarchist club in the East End.
Yes.
Did you go to anything other than lectures? Did you go to balls or did you go to meetings?
Me?
Yes.
Well, this is what I want to tell you. But he became he was at home for 15, 16 years, 17, a socialist in the same social club where I belonged. I was the youngest then there, but 14, 10. When I joined the club, I was 12. I believe not quite 12 years old there. And, in Russia and Poland, the children grow up They bring up the children more older, you know. When I came here, so my age, 15, 16, they still play with toys. They still play, and I was already, I thought, growing up, an adult, you know. Because it's no good. They got plenty time to know this rotten world. So long they keep young and they feel young, better for them. I was agree with this, but they keep the children so. But I saw 15 years, boys and girls like children. And I was already an adult the same age as me, you see. So I joined, I believe, for 11 years. Yeah, when I was 10 years old, I started asking questions, my mother and my father. My mother and father, especially my mother, they are Orthodox Jewish. My mother could be a Rebbitzin, you know what a Rebbitzin? A Rebbe. She knew everything, the whole Bible, by heart. I started, and she taught me everything. But when I became 10 years, I started asking questions. I started seeing with different eyes than before. Till 10 years, I was like my mother brought me. And then my mother started saying, you mustn't ask this question. I said, why? I have now 2 questions to ask you. Why I mustn't? And the question, so I got 2 questions there you must answer. Yes, but my father wasn't such a fanatic. He was an Orthodox person, a religious person. No, but my mother, she was a fanatic, but very clever woman in her if she would be alive now, she was a very clever woman, but in her ways. But she knew. And I went till 10 years, I didn't want to eat breakfast before I say the prayers. Not prayers like the English, it's long prayers, davening they call it, long prayers. And then my mother said, you can eat pie. I said, you never eat breakfast before you daven. She said, well, you are a child. I'm an adult, you are a child. I said, well, I want to do everything for my mother. But when I became 10 years, I started asking questions. I didn't like everything what my mother told me, what I learned.
Can you say that again, about what the old comrades told you about Rocker and his first wife? Can you tell me again?
I wasn't here then, but they told me. When I came, they told me all this. His wife would be a Hitlerist. Maybe she was, if she was still alive when Hitler ruled Germany. Hitler, he was a tool. The Prussians ruled Germany. The army.
No, but
Hitler was a tool of the army. Well, she disturbed him. She didn't let him write. She didn't let him speak. She came and broke up his meeting. There, when I came, used to be meetings in the street, not only anarchists, in every corner, and we spent in the West End everywhere, in Parliament Hill. People, now you cannot see speakers in this, only in the Hyde Park. But then, have you got speakers in the street now? No, you see, but I still find them there. But I didn't find not Rocker's wife. The first wife wasn't here.
What was her name?
I don't know.
Was she German? She was.
What?
She was German.
She was German also, Aryan like Rocker.
And was it?
But she wasn't not only an anarchist. She wasn't a radical. She would be a fascist. Then we didn't know yet fascism. We only know, we used to say, counter-revolutionaries or racists, but we didn't know the name. The name of fascism came only 1922 when Mussolini marched. Mussolini, he was an extreme socialist, extreme, and he marched he was the leader of fascism.
But
then became the name.
But Rocker...
But she was against his writing, was against his speaking, against his ideas. And she not only kept quiet, many anarchists, married not anarchists, but the wives, they didn't disturb them, they didn't interfere. She interfered with him, he couldn't live with her no more.
And they had a child?
He had to part.
They had a child, did they?
They had a boy. The boy was then, I believe, 10 or 11. When I came, he was already my age, or maybe older or younger, I don't remember. But I made friends with him. He became my friend later when I came. But when I came, he was already growing up. But then, when they were, I don't know, they parted and she went back to Germany, but Rocker didn't want to give her the boy. He said she will bring him up like she is, and he don't want his child to be like... She was an ordinary woman, and not only ordinary, but she disturbed him, interferes with his work, with his ideas, with his broke up meetings.
Did they meet in Paris or in London?
Who?
Rocker and his first wife.
I don't know.
But they lived together in London?
Yes. Suppose he brought her from Germany, then he ran away from Germany, otherwise he would be arrested for political activities. But he wasn't an anarchist then, Rocker. Suppose he was, I don't know. I wasn't interested in this. They told me, and I have forgotten. It's long ago, you know how many years this is? 70 years, must be from the end of 1930.
Yeah.
70 years.
72.
You see?
But Millie Whitcomb was different, wasn't she? Millie Whitcomb.
Well, I wasn't interested. I was interested later in Millie Whitcomb. But when I came, so he didn't want to give her the boy. She went back to Germany. They parted. And he went to live. He didn't marry. Maybe the first wife he married. He wasn't an anarchist. But the anarchists don't marry. Some of them, they marry because otherwise the children, they say, anarchists, but they didn't marry. Millie and Rocker, anarchists don't marry. They don't believe in marriage. So Millie finished bringing up the boy. He was 10 or 11 years. And she brought him up like her own child. When I came, Millie Rocker had already a boy from 5 or 6 years, I believe 5 or 4 years, because when I came to the lectures, I could see a little boy, and they told me, the other comrades, this Rocker's Millie's little boy.
Do you know he lives in London?
Huh?
The son, the boy you're talking about, Firmin Rocker, he lives near here.
He lives in America.
No, I saw him this afternoon. He has been in England for 11 years now.
Oh, you spoke to him? He can give you.
I've spoken to him as well.
Huh?
But I've spoken to him as well.
Yeah.
But of course he was just a little boy then.
Yes, when I came he was a little boy. And they told me this is Millie's Rockers. I wasn't an anarchist then yet. I only where I lived, but this would send me, the rabbi's son who sent me the money to come, because my parents wouldn't give me money to go because they didn't want me to go. So
when did you become an anarchist?
You see, I don't become so easily, and I must study, because I was a socialist, and socialism didn't appeal to me. I didn't know why. Later, when I became an anarchist, then I knew. But I didn't want to join the anarchists because I thought I don't want to make another mistake. I came to this rabbi's son there, I lived there. And he had a big library in all the languages. Yiddish, Russian, Polish, German. And I like reading even there. I like reading better than the television. Well, so I looked and I find I had Peter Kropotkin. I didn't know even if he is an anarchist. I had in Russia, but I didn't know him. I didn't even see him here when I came first. Well, and I just thought maybe you had Peter Kropotkin appeal to the young. And this appealed to me. And I read this and I started, but this Rabbi Sanvot, he became an anarchist here. And I knew him already from Warsaw. We went in one young socialist club. It didn't appeal to me. I didn't know why it didn't appeal. Later I find out when I became an anarchist why it didn't appeal to me. Because in me was anarchism born with me.
But what was the name?
Yes, many people don't know. They know they cannot agree with the socialists, they cannot agree with the politicians, but they cannot give it a name. They don't know it's anarchism. And just I had the chance to find, I stayed with him. If I would stay with my sister or with my aunt, I wouldn't find out. If by accident or by chance you find out what it is in you. But, well, when I came, this Rabbi Sana told me, you know Leah, they called me Leah like a little bear, and my parents called me so like a little child. You know you got here your party. If you want it, I will take you to them. He was already an anarchist. I said, what do you rush me? If I'm in a hurry, why you in a hurry? And I will tell you a thought. I said, this meaning in Yiddish, I thought a secret. Don't appeal to me, socialism. I don't know why. It didn't appeal to me. You see, he never told me what to read. He never told me anything. But I felt he watched me. You see, he watched me, but I look in the library on the shelves and take out books and look on the first page what it is and put it back and take another one. He never said a word. But one time, when I was reading Kropotkin's appeal to the young or some other, later I read a lot then there. He called me in for supper. It was after the evening meal, and he said, "Come in. The soup gets cold." And I said, I still call him like at home, Mottle. Here is Max. No, oh, Mottle. I said, all my life I was looking for myself and I couldn't find myself. He said, where did you find yourself? I said, here in the book. He came over to me and looked what I read. He took me and come, you will read later. Come have your supper. And when he came he said to his wife, you know this old lady? She always, I was 15 or nearly 16, and I said all my life, this old lady, all her life, she looked for herself, couldn't find her. Now she find her in Kropotkin's. She started laughing. They both laughed. So I said, what is the funny thing? I said, I couldn't say funny thing, I couldn't speak yet English, but I said in Yiddish, like, what is the, well, you were not even 16. I was 15 and a half old, and you say you all your life. All my life. So they laughed, this whole lady. And they want me, but although I wasn't, they want me just to come comrades to him, and he introduced me, and they spoke with me. When I heard that here is an anarchist school, and only 3 times a week, because wasn't then allowed to open a free school then. It was for 12 years more. But when you had Francisco Ferrer in Spain was murdered because he was organizing free schools, also an anarchist. After his death, they tried everywhere. But it was 3 times, and they call it here the Sunday school, because if it would be socialist or anarchist, they wouldn't allow it. But so when I heard this, and his comrades, but they came, they introduced me, they used to know. I said, do you want to tell me that you opened a little factory to make anarchists? I was 16 of age then, you know. They start laughing. They say, come there to the there, then it is the 3 times, Sunday, Saturday, and once in the middle of the week. The children who go to school, they used to try to argue with this what they learn in the school. And they, the children, didn't tell them. They asked the children their views. And they want that. Then I said, I'm against this. I'm against to hammer in the young children any ideas. I said, they want to hammer in my socialism, but they didn't succeed, but because we must bring up children free. And when they grow up, let them choose for themselves. I was 16 of age, and I thought when they heard this, they looked at each other like I speak like a growing up anarchist, and I say I'm not an anarchist, I'm a socialist, but it don't appeal to me. So the socialism, why I couldn't answer why. I didn't know myself. Later I find it out. Well, later, when I read, and I say, I'm an anarchist, but why don't you come and join the young? It was the young course of this Sunday school from 7 till 18 of age. They call it Sunday school because it wasn't allowed free school. So I said, oh no, I must study anarchism. Although now I find it is me, but I must study because I don't want to make another mistake. I made a mistake. I joined, but I was young then, but led not 12 years when I joined in Poland. It was the youth club, social club for the youth. You see, I don't want to make another mistake. Although now I know I'm an anarchist, everything appeals to me for the anarchist. But this time they say, no, we do this what you just said. We try to learn to bring up children free and let them not any idea. We don't hammer in their heads any idea.